Good evening. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another session of Ask Bolaji Anything HR and Recruitment. It's an initiative of Ingenuity HR Solutions and HR consultancy um, outfit. We call ourselves your buffet HR company, consultancy company, because that means you can find everything that you want, just like a buffet. We do all the broad spectrum of HR, from recruitment, training and development, employee engagement, compensation and benefits, and then we do other things that are also for individuals. We do CV writing, mock interviews. We have an HR academy. It's an honor to be here with you today. I'm not going to waste much of our time because I think this person is a very straight to the point kind of person. And I'm just going to be revealing our guest today. It's such a great honor to have her here. And I'll be reading her profile. Um, I'd like to us to warmly welcome our guest for today, Mrs. Yetunde Ayeni. I'm just going to read our professional profile. Yetunde Ayeni is a certified member and a licensed HR professional with the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. She's a graduate of Industrial and Labor Relations from Olabisi Onabanjo University, Ogun State, Nigeria. Excuse me, as a strategic human resources leader and business partner with over 18 years of diverse HR experience. She has successfully led HR transformation across various industries, including oil and gas, consulting, information technology, FMCG, and most recently, insurance, life, non life, and health. She has a proven track record in, but not limited to, organizational development, talent acquisition and management, change management, workforce management, job evaluation, and succession planning, amongst others. She has deep expertise in employee relations, stakeholder management, compensation and benefit, immigration and expatriate management, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and belongingness initiative. This is actually going to make me laugh because that's one of the things I will be talking about today. As a testament of her competence, she was named by Seamless HR as one of Africa's top 100 HR leaders. This feat corroborates the consistency and unwavering dedication in championing excellence and people first culture. As a strategic HR leader and executive management member of a leading conglomerate, she is passionate about driving business transformation through innovative HR solutions that ensure talent availability, development, and retention in a rapidly evolving business landscape. So we have with us Yetunde Ayeni. Yetunde, it's great to have you here today to join us.
Thanks for having me. I wasn't sure if that profile was actually mine. I had to check again to be sure that this was right there. But thank you.
Right. That's how I feel too when they are reading my profile. I'm like, is this me? Don't worry, it's you. You paid your dues. So I mean, it's just good to just enjoy it. Enjoy it. It's nice to
Thank
have you
you,
here. It's
Bolaji. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
I'm I'm
Thank you,
look
everyone.
I'm so happy that we're having this conversation. And I'm glad to have you here with us on Ask Bolaji Anything HR and recruitment. Before I start asking you questions, I'm going to play a video. I hope it works. So I want to play this video. I already had it here. So can
Bolaji, you might need to share your screen. The video is not
So
up.
Say, how long till one gets stolen? Now, the answer would come 2 days later when Knicks fan and now identified JP Morgan Chase executive Angie Baez would decide.
Oh. Yeah. Sorry, I think there was a technical glitch. I tried to share my screen and then before I knew what was happening, everything went off. Can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
For some reason, I don't know. If I try to share my screen, it's muting me for I don't know. I don't know why that is so.
Your microphone is on mute again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you
So
now.
I was going to play the video of a Chase DEI executive who was fired for stealing Nick's trash can. I'm not sure if I think I have it here, and I'll just read through. It happened on the course in the course of this week or last week. The woman who went viral for stealing a Nick's tin trash can at the parade last week was identified as Angie Baez, a director of DEI at JP Morgan Chase, JP Morgan in America. So JP Morgan reportedly fired Baez after the video of her got millions of views on social media, and the firm confirmed today she's no longer with the firm. Right? Today we're talking about um ethics and personal brand. And I felt that was a very strong um incident that is very recent that I mean it went viral. We've had a lot, and maybe in the course of our discussion we might be talking about that, but she was fired. I'm sure when she did what she did, um she might not have thought that she did it outside of work, right? But it, unfortunately for her, the thing went viral, and they realized that she that was why I laughed when I was reading your profile and I said diversity, equity, and inclusion. You know, it's it's a very challenging topic. It's a very difficult topic to talk about. Some people are on the side of, oh, your brand, your personal brand is your own thing. It's none of anybody's business what you choose to do with your life and all of those things. What do you think, Yetunde? What's the big deal about ethics and personal brand as a professional?
All right, thank you very much, Bolaji. So, for every individual on this call, there's something about them that is unique that makes an organization consider them to join that organization to work. It might be the skill, it might be the level of interaction, it might just be that they align with the core values of that organization and they are considered to come on board and start working with that organization. Now, prior to them joining that specific organization, they had a life. They had a life in the sense that there's something of interest to them that has nothing to do with professionalism, right? That they believe in and who makes them it makes them who they are. However, if you must work in an organization, there are guiding rules, right? And if you're not going to live by the rules, then don't join the organization. So if you are going to live by the rules, that means that you are ready to be adaptive, right? Embrace the new thing that you're not used to. And then you begin to um, align with whatever that has been communicated in that organization. But one thing I would usually say is if your your personal aspirations are not in alignment with the organizational aspiration, then there's going to be a mismatch. You won't even stay long in that organization because there will be conflict of aspirations. So it's my life. Why is it why is it my organization's business who I am after work? From 9 to 5, I am this person for this. And from anything that happens afterwards, it's my life, it's none of their business. Yes, it's your life. But guess what? Looking at that example of the JP Morgan
Yes.
organization lady, right? Let me bring the example home.
Mm-hmm.
Now, should anything happen, perhaps you're on your way home, you're working on the island, you live on the mainland, you're on your way home, and all of a sudden another person hits your car, or you're in a staff bus, another driver hits that bus you're in,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a pandemonium. You all come down, you start talking to this person. You know, one funny thing on Third Mainland Bridge, when your car breaks down on a work day, you'll be shocked the number of people that would see you on that bridge.
Hmm.
Why? Because and to you, you're on board that you just want to get out of that place and move to work. But if you have any exchange right there, rest assured that some people that you don't know are where you're there, that are passing by, could record that scene. And within this world of social media that we're in now, there's a way they'll change the narrative of that incident, especially if you're working in a top organization, right? That the brand it's a great place to work and
It's
everyone is
known.
just hustling to get into that organization. It's a well-known brand.
Mm-hmm.
They'll change the narrative to say that, oh, a staff of X, Y, and Z billionaire was found exchanging words on Third Mainland Bridge over a car crash, or God is involved in a road rage. You know how they would change the narrative and make it very attractive. You really want to read the story. Now you're the one involved. You've closed from work, but your employer has been dragged into that situation,
Hmm.
right? So that is how that's just an instance of why, yes, it's your life, but then you just have to be careful. If you're going to be in a paid employment that respects its own brand and has a very strong brand at that, you need to make sure that you just align, even if it's not so convenient for you, but for that purpose, you just have to align so that it doesn't rub off on you. Because especially if at that time you don't even have an option, you
Mm-hmm.
don't have another job at that time, right? That's the only employment you have. But if you're in your own personal business, you're running your personal business, honestly, feel free. Be yourself. I don't think anyone will hold you accountable for that except for yourself. But at the same time, if it's a brand you want to build long term, you also need to just be adaptive to the needs of that business or that organization from a brand perspective. I hope I've been able to shed light on that, Bolaji.
All right, thank you. But I'm going to take you up again. You said, so does that mean that people that are working for themselves, e.g., like myself, I now fully work for myself? Does that mean that I can just be doing anything anyhow because I'm working for
So
myself? Because again, people might get the idea that, oh, if you're working for yourself, then you can be anyhow. So I'm just going to go into in talking about personal brand, whether somebody is looking at you or not looking at you. Is this something you intentionally build, or is just what people say about you when you're not in the room? What is it about? Because like you said, if you're working in an organization, they can attach you to that organization. What are people that they don't attach them to any organization? I walk into places, I don't know, people know me, and people will be, I know you, I know you, I know you, I know you, and I'm like, okay. So even though I work for myself, I still find out that people know me. So in that situation, how can people, does that not mean that um how can we be intentional about our personal brand, whether we're working for any organization or we're working for ourselves? And I'll
okay.
quickly give you a short scenario. I had to fire somebody last year from my organization because of something that had to do with the brand. Because somehow I had that because of the intentionality of the brand. I was like, if this thing gets outside, it's going to be something very grievous, because you are painting me for who I'm not. I don't want it. I'm not what you are painting me to be. I don't know, maybe you understand what I'm trying to say. So you are giving me much, so you are giving me a position or a role that is not mine. And that's like being dishonest, if you ask me. But somebody will say, I want you like that kind of big brand to be associated with it. And I said no. I've never worked for that organization. So if you are giving me the brand of an organization I'm not working for, it could affect my brand as well. So how can people be, I am very intentional about my brand. So how can people be intentional about their brand? Some people say, yeah, now people know you, yeah. Oh, Group A, Avon, UBA, people know you, like, that kind of thing. But what of some people who they don't know? This woman, the only reason why her story quickly went out there was because of who she was. Maybe she didn't know people would know her, but for some reason it went viral and people knew her. So let's bring it back home. Irrespective of who people are, how can they build their own personal brand that can be outstanding over time?
Okay. Thank you, Bolaji. Let me take it back to what I said the last time, that except
Mhm.
you're working for yourself and you feel okay, you have nothing to lose. But if it's going to be a long-term brand that you're building, then you have to be intentional about it. So that answers the part of
Yes.
if you're working for yourself. Now, in terms of being intentional about the brand, is it being intentional or being or what people say about you when you're not there? The only time people would say things about you when you're not there is based on what they know about you. So how have you presented yourself? Who do people know you to be? Are you the type that gets into the room and everyone keeps quiet, like, oh, this person is not discreet enough. You can't divulge this kind of information. Or are you known for your integrity? Are you known for your intellectuality? Are you known for the way you appear, the confidence you exude? What exactly are you known for? So you have to be intentional about building that brand, right? So you won't just go around and thinking, oh, I'm just an ordinary person. Your name alone is a brand.
Hmm.
Your name is a brand. So if you choose to make it a brand, yes, it will be a brand. If you choose to just ignore it and just abandon it, it has nothing to do. It's not like the $10 of this day. $10 was just $10 until it became $10 as a brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now is children, I'm sure now, okay, someone is married, she's bold enough to drop her father's name because she has her own brand. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people might as much as you work with an organization that has a brand, make yourself a brand as well. So they reckon with that brand, right? Some people, their names are so powerful that even when they are married, for the women now, they don't let go of that name. You see, it's as a compound name so that it
Mm-hmm.
can resonate with someone that already knows that name as a brand. So you really have to be intentional about it. It's not about faking it. Be real, be yourself, but you just need to read the room, know you have to be adaptive, right? So, what am I saying in essence? So, if I'm invited, for example, to an executive gathering that I know that, okay, it's for the creme de la creme, some certain behaviors are expected, not a problem, I'll align. But guess what? There'll be someone in that room, in that gathering, that I can be real with. Perhaps when we are going for the buffet and we are seeing certain things that does not look like what we've tasted before. You're not going to hop on it and say, you want to eat it because other people are eating it. Have you tasted it before? Do you know what it feels like? You don't want to get on that table and then you can't even eat it off the plate. So
Mm-hmm.
as much as you're there by virtue of whom you've been perceived to be because of the your brand visibility, you've been invited to that place, you still have to be yourself. So back to what I was saying about there will be someone there in the room that you can be naughty with. You can just have those side talks. This one that they are putting, have you me? I'm not interested. I'm not going to go there. Just, you have your private jokes and enjoy it. Now, when you leave that gathering, you'll be shocked that if they left the thousands that are there to be real and have a conversation after, like behind the scene, you will be shocked that most of them just had to align with the environment.
Mm.
But they've left an impression on the other people that they've left. You've created an impression already that, oh, this person meets this kind of gathering. If I have some important engagement, it might not necessarily be tied to the organization you're working with. There might just be some other kind of gathering that bring together executives of different conglomerates or different sectors or industries. You just need to, how would I put it now? You need to be equal to the task. Building a personal brand requires you being adaptive, requires you being versatile. It also requires you being intentional about it and being real. It's important to be real. I think I'll land it there if there are any other so as the
Yes,
conversation goes by.
yes. So I liked what you said, that your name can even be your brand, and you can't make yourself a brand, whether you're working for yourself or working for someone, and that you can be real, you can be yourself. You have to be adaptive, and yet you have to be versatile. Thank you for that. I'm just going to move to the next question. Okay, so what are the biggest mistake professionals make that unknowingly can damage their brand? And can this be corrected if somebody has made, tell us those likely mistakes that you can make that will bring disrepute to your brand, or stain your brand, as it were, that people can make. And is it even possible, if you make a big brand blunder for your personal brand, can it be corrected? Like this woman, like this, what's the hope for her? Does this mean that her life has finished? Because the company that hired her, which is JP um, Morgan Chase, they fired her because of what it has done to their own brand. But can she move forward from this period? And if there are people that you've made one mistake, you've done something, you spoke about, maybe one day, we've seen people do all sorts of things outside of the brand that they are working for, and some have gotten into trouble, some it has damaged their brand. Can it be corrected?
Yes, it can. It can be corrected, but the mistake they shouldn't, that I would say that one shouldn't make, which is very, very important and can deter the brand, is you not being you lacking integrity. That's how I
Mm,
want to land it. Right. Now, can it be corrected? You see, if that woman choose to take it up legally with JP Morgan, she might possibly win. Why am I saying she might possibly win that case is because I feel that some due diligence were not done. On what grounds was she fired? Is it in alignment with the grounds provision of the organization that on these grounds you can be fired, right? So that has happened. But can it be redeemed? Yes. And I'll use the case of Tiger Woods. I'm sure everyone knows Tiger Woods, the lawn tennis champion. He had a downfall one time as a result of some, let me not go into the dirty details, but he had a downfall sometime. But he dusted himself up and came back top of the tournament again. Why? Because he believes strongly. And one mistake does not mean that you should linger in that mistake and just feel that that's everything. That's all. In fact, I think there's a common saying that says the downfall of a man is not the end of his
It's not
life.
the end of his life.
Exactly. So there's still hope. So don't say, oh, because of this singular mistake, my brand is eroded. I can't rise up again. No, 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 no. But one thing that should never happen is that mistake being repeated. Learn from that mistake, but don't repeat it again. When you learn from it, you've taken the lessons, then you can even rebrand, right? You can rebrand in terms of, okay, I made this mistake. What you analyze what led you to making that mistake and do a deep analysis of what could have led to it and make sure, just like I said, make sure it doesn't repeat itself again. By the time you come back, and how you're coming back also determines how long the brand will be sustainable. Because if you're coming back in the old state, you might not have that impact that you really desire. But one thing people cannot take away from you is the gift that you have. You have that gift, your creativity, if that's your brand, your creativity, whatever it is, that strong tenet that you have is what then strengthens your brand, and it helps you come back without thinking, oh, I don't think without thinking, oh, this person has read about me. Now, your courage is very important, right? Another example is what's her name? Tiwa Savage. I'm using these examples. Yes, they might not be in our own core professional field, but these are people that are also professionals in their own industries, right? Despite that saga, right? She's still. Am I in alignment with what she has done? Not no, but despite that, see how she managed it. Did you think that it didn't hurt her? Oh, it hurt her, but she was still confident, pulling things through despite the challenges. And see her now. I'm sorry that I'm speaking about entertainment, but I always say to people that if I were not a human resource professional, I probably would have been an
You have
entertainer.
been in the entertainment industry.
I probably would have been in that industry. And I'll push a lot of
Don't worry,
talents, right?
I
Yeah.
understand.
So see her now, right? She's topping the chart again with a new album, right? So you need to push that confidence from the inside. Don't let what people say about you or think about you determine who you are. You know who you are, so you have to live by that person that you are. So that's still part of your brand. I was interviewing someone one time, and I asked what the attraction for the person to the brand I was interviewing for was, and then she went on and on and on, and she said, "I am also a brand." That was what the candidate said. I am also a brand, and I believe that my brand is going to rub off on your brand. And it was for a sales role. It's going to rub off on your brand and help generate the revenue. I was like, okay, now we're talking. That's part of the confidence that we're talking about. Some people are not confident in their brand, and don't try to be like another person. I think that's where a lot of people mix things up. You're all unique. For everyone on this call, we all have a unique talent that works essentially for us and that the other person would not have. So you need to identify what those unique talents are, and it helps you to remain original. So regardless of the number of people, that's why some corporate brands would always thrive, regardless of the number of competitors that are in that industry. So, Bolaji, I hope I've done justice to that question.
Yeah, you've done it. You actually said that anybody can have a comeback. That's what I actually
Yes,
learned. And that no matter the situation, no matter how bad the situation is, you can always bounce back, as it were. Thank
absolutely.
you for putting um insights in that. And I just had a good laugh about you saying, you would have been you'd have been a, what's it called,
And I've been
if
an
you are not in
entertainer,
HR. And
or
the
maybe
next
in the
question,
entertainment industry.
entertainment industry is actually HR. So,
Mhm.
and I would like you to answer it since you're an HR professional. Sorry, you are still here. Maybe you can use entertainment as your retirement plan.
That will work. I have a lot of talents. I have a
Abby,
record label.
so that's nice. So let's talk about HR. Should HR separate an employee's social media behavior from their professional life? Where should this line be drawn? And I'm going to quickly make a story of something that happened before you answer that question, so that it will provide insights on how to answer it. Um, so there was this client that we were trying to recruit for, and when we gave him the CV of somebody, he said he was fine, and he said he was going to speak with the lady. But I think not, but he went, when he had the session with her, he asked her to give that, what was your name on social media. And I don't think it was even LinkedIn that he used. Maybe it was, maybe she sent Facebook. And some people, you'll be surprised that some people in a professional world, they still do not have a LinkedIn account. I asked for people's LinkedIn, but this particular person didn't have it. And the man came back to me, it was quite funny, Yetunde, that it was a face of a cat or something very scary. And the man is, I don't know, he said that he couldn't employ her, that he's sorry, that his spirit did not agree with what she put, the persona she had on her social media, that it was scary for him. The cats, and that even the name she called herself, maybe her name is, I don't know, whatever her name was in real life. Maybe she now said catty, Caitlin cat or ferocious cat or something like that. I guess the man was scared. This part of the world, the way people can be about that thing. So, the question is, how should you separate an employee's social media behavior from their professional life? Where should the line be drawn? And please remember all the other stories that we've had, and about people living their own life on social media, thinking they are living their lives, and then all of a sudden is impacting. HR will call them to give them query on what they did on social media. Where do we draw the line?
Okay, thank you very much. So we're all first individuals before becoming employees. I consider it very unprofessional for any employer or HR to say that to ask for the person's social media handle. It's enough. In fact, the way LinkedIn is now, you can just search for, once you have the name of the person, you can search for the individual's name on LinkedIn. I mean, that's enough platform. That's enough professional platform to, if you want any details or information about that individual, considering the role you want to hire them for, yes, it's okay to go there. Maybe do some fact findings to validate some claims that they, especially if they've said, oh, they were in unemployment from so time to work. That's enough. It's none of the HR head or HR manager's business what an employee does with his personal life. Now, if you do that, you you are not encouraging this talents, because they'll see you as a busybody HR. I mean, really, what's your business with it? So that's why a lot of people would just block their HR from saying, in fact, let me cite an example. When I was in consulting, I had a managing partner that was quite nosy. And the managing partner, so the very first time I noticed a reaction, then it was BlackBerry era. The very first time I noticed a reaction to
Something posted.
what do we was it status then? Is it profile? Is this
Yeah,
profile
his status.
status for BlackBerry then?
Mm.
And then she reacted. Ha, I just said to myself that this is it. So I blocked the managing partner and I was unapologetic about it. And I still do it till date. If now, right now, I don't have there's a number of people I let access my social media handles, right?
Mm.
Especially Instagram, because you have a life outside their 9 to 5. So
Absolutely.
let people live their lives. What are you being nosy?
Are you
As a matter
monitoring
of fact, if I have access, there are so many colleagues of mine that when I see their status, I don't even say a word. It's none of my
exactly?
business. I don't react to it. A few ones that are, comfortable enough with me having seeing their status and based on interactions we've had, where we react, it ends there. We don't bring it to work.
Mm.
Okay, so that's it. It ends there. When we have those conversations on, oh, it's because some people they glow in the dark. When you see them in the office, they look very they look very formal. But when you have a social engagement or a social gathering or an event,
That's
they are
completely
glowing in the
different.
dark, and you're like, so you can't look like this. Because at work, the timelines, the workload will not let them be themselves from a social standpoint. I expect everyone to have a social life. As a matter of fact, it is needed for productivity in the workplace in case some HR professionals don't know, especially if you're intentional about employee engagement in your workplace. You need to let them because that social intelligence is very, very essential for collaboration. You can't just be all uptight, and you can't feel free to have certain conversations. As a matter of fact, and I'm not boasting, I'm just saying this because it's what is working for me. My team members can tell me anything, and I mean anything,
Yeah.
even when, to the point that one, anything at all, they can just tell me whatever it is, family related, personal relationships, and I would never use it against them. We might just have the conversation and say, I might say, oh, you're staying too long in the market. Is it next year? Is it by 2026? Are we coming to eat rice? Where I want the Ashwebi invite. All those kind of conversations. They're not scared to have those conversations. They might even say, I've broken up with that one. Oh, I'm like, are you sure you're not the problem? I'm just trying to cite examples of conversations we can have. Some of them
Mm-hmm.
would have a conversation with their parents and talk about their line managers to their parents. There was one of my team members um, that once had was new to HR, so there were some irregularities I noticed. So we had a conversation like, if you're going to keep going like this, then you have no business being in HR. So that person had a conversation with his mom, and the mom said, "That's the person that fits you. That person you're working with is the person that fits you, that grown." That I was even shocked. I was like, "Oh, you're even having this conversation with your mom." And when the person was going to get married, the mom, that was the first day I met the mom, and she was, I don't, how would I put it now? She was so elated and happy about how the young man has become a turnaround and become, and balancing things. So it's none of your business what your please, HR, don't use it against anyone. Let's be very, very professional. If you have HR managers or anyone managing people, you're a team lead, you're a head of department, the social life of your team members are their business. It's none of your business. Don't, you just have to draw that line. You might be tempted. Let that temptation sit in you. Don't let it come to the fore. Don't have those conversations. They will block you, and and that's not what the work environment should be like. It
Like
should
this
it should
nosy
be
pattern.
healthy. Don't
Mm-hmm.
issue me a query because you see that, oh, I live a life outside the office to the fullest, and you
I'm
think that
happy.
maybe that's what is affecting
Some
productivity.
managers don't want their people to even be happy at all. Like they
No,
should just be glued to the work.
no. Some people are struggling with addiction because of poor people management because their leaders are not doing justice to their career. You're just about the job, but you're not letting them express themselves on the job. You're not letting them, be original about this. You don't want to have conversations that would help their productivity. Just it has to be a boss subordinates kind of conversation. No, no. Have those conversations. As a matter of fact, I always ask for feedback from my team members. I don't want it to be anonymous. Give it to me directly in the presence of everybody. It's okay. Do you understand? Because I would rather have those conversations than it being a corridor talk.
Mm.
When it becomes a
Like
corridor talk,
grapevine, gossip, and then they even spread the wrong
absolutely,
things that are not absolutely true, or it's not even how you
exactly,
are viewing it too as well. So it's
exactly. That's
important
how
to have.
toxic relationships start.
Mhm.
So let people be. You should even be happy that, oh, and some people are not convinced. I'm comfortable having those conversations. Do you even know your team members beyond work? Do you know their health status? When you're having, do you coach them? Do you have those one-on-one? Do you want to? There's something we call know your employee. Do you really know your employees?
So why?
Then make sure you're not trying to be nosy because there's a thin line between wanting to show
How
care
do you
for your
manage it?
employees.
How do you manage it again? Because so that it doesn't become you don't come across as being nosy again. I am
Yes.
on the side of mind your own business, don't nose around
Mhm,
in people's matter, live your life, let people live your life. I don't care how you're living your life. Let's just do the
mhm.
job and let people go. Over time, like you said, people who will open up to you, you will eventually build relationship with
Right.
them. I mean, they will be comfortable enough to do that with you. So, but you never get that to with all your employees. I've been HR in several
Sure,
organizations. There
sure.
were people that
You can't
it
get it with
was
all your
just
employees.
work and everybody just went and it was okay. But there were people that they told me things that I cannot even tell any other person else because they told me in confidence because they trust me that enough to share with me. And as they share it with me, if it's not official, I'm going to tell them. I'm not going to tell it to anybody. I remember when I was walking out of the country and I was asked to investigate a matter. That matter had the part of where they were trying to find out if the employee was being harassed. But in the process of trying to investigate the matter, the employee then opened up a lot more than what we even wanted to know. But at some point, she said, HR, this is between you and I. And my ears were full. And I said, okay, this part that is for the organization, I'll let them know. The part that you shared with me that is between both of us, till today, no soul, no single soul would have heard about it. I've left the workplace. Even the ladies has also left the workplace, but that matter was strictly between us. But guess what happened? My employers at the time expected that I was meant to give them all the nitty gritty details. They kept telling me, "Is this all that she shared with you?" And I said, for the purpose of what you want to know, this is all I can divulge. And they were actually unhappy with how I handled it. They were expecting me to be giving them all the gist about somebody's life. And I think that's where we must really, really draw the line as HR. It doesn't mean because you are in HR, you should then become one nosy packer and all of those things. People will just eventually, and it might even lead to disrespect again at the end of the day. I remember one of my bosses, which is the one I wanted to tell you about. How do you handle such case? My own boss was telling me that I should go ahead and be telling people who just joined the organization that they must do ABC, XYZ, something that is not legal. You said that they must, all these things that people do on social media. Hey, hi, I'm here today. I just started working in Avon, HMO, blah, 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 blah. For me, I think that those things are not things that you can force people to do. It should be from their own volition. If they are proud enough that they are working with Avon, then they will put it there. If they are not proud, leave them alone. That means maybe there's something you need to correct. He said it's by force. I must be forcing them. And we had a huge fallout on that. I never did it. I said that I will go and meet people and be forcing them that by force is you people, as we're onboarding you, you must be telling people, you must be making announcements on LinkedIn that you have joined our organization. Like Yoruba people will say, Shogun Ayeni. It's not that deep now, like Gen Z will say. Guess what now happened? We now employed somebody that will be telling the person, people to go. We now sack the person in 1 month. How do you think? I think that was how the whole conversation died. So where do we really draw the lines so that we're able to manage it, like you said, and at the same time, we're not overdoing that people will now not want to have anything to do with us?
Okay, thank you very much, Bolaji. So when people tell you certain things about themselves, it's coming from a place of trust. And them trusting you means that you're capable of keeping that information discreet, no matter how long it stays with you. There are some people that they have the area of the mouth. They just want to talk. They just want to talk. Now, when they tell you these things, right, they're the ones that have chosen to tell you, not you asking them. So don't do a follow-up. Don't always say, how far that thing you told me, they would not come again. Let them do the coming. When they do the coming and you're having the conversation, you're also mindful of how you advise them, whatever advice you're giving to them. But let them be the one coming for you because you didn't initiate the conversation in the first place. The only thing you owe them, right, that would warrant you asking them to come is coaching. When you're coaching them, right? You know, when you're coaching them, you're the one chasing after them and making sure that you're unlocking that potential in them. You're having that conversation. But in the course of coaching them, if they are now expressing themselves, and because ideally that's what it should be. It should be the one thinking of it, oh, this is the problem, this is what I think the solution would be. You're only leading them on and guiding them and helping them to unlock that potential and make the best of it. But don't always do that follow up in terms of, because that now makes you nosy. Hey, that thing you told me that day, how far you are hungry to know, you are so itchy to know and follow up. No, maintain that professionalism. Let them, and don't mix business with pleasure. So they should also not think that because they've had some non work related conversations with you, when it comes to the work, they won't do it. No, set the record straight. Let them know that this is when it's business, it's business. When we're having the one-on-one conversation, we're having the one-on-one conversations, but the work has to be done. Set it clear. They would also know the difference, right? They know when you're laughing, they know so they will read the room, they would look out for your body language. What's the mood today? So they won't just open their mouth and start saying things they shouldn't say when we have a serious business ahead of us to run. But in drawing that line, you as the leader should not be the one instigating those irrelevant conversations, right? When they bring it, you should also know how to caution them. But please don't use it against them. You would never end that trust. The moment you use it against them, the trust is gone. And before you know it, they begin to detach, they begin to disengage. You'll be the last to know when they are leaving the organization. And that shouldn't be. When someone is comfortable having conversations of, oh, I think I'm having, it's no longer what it's easier. If someone is bold enough to come and have a conversation of wanting to leave the organization with his or her line manager, then that's a good work relationship. But if you are the last to know, then there's a problem. Something has gone wrong. Okay. So we're still speaking about personal brand, work ethic, so that we still know that okay, there's this alignment. So they already know you for that person that would not take nonsense, but also has a sweet side to him or her when it comes to certain things as it concerns the work environment. I'll land it.
Thank you so much for that. I really, really particularly like that one that you said. Don't use it against them. If not, they're going to detach. And at the end of the day, you won't be the one that they will reach out to, whether as a manager or even as HR, if anything happens to them in the course of work. And that shouldn't be. they should be able to, reach out to you and all of that. I'm going to ask you a very tough question. And, given the kind of environment that we find ourselves, where it's like there's something that somebody said recently, and I'm going to use that word here, Olodo uprising. In the era of Olodo uprising, where mediocrity is being rewarded, things are not you know wholesome that people can learn from. On an HR group today, somebody posted that in China has banned that in some areas, like legal, like medical, healthcare, and all of those things. For you to come out and speak about those areas, finance, and you must be a professional in that field. These days, people don't need to be a professional. Everybody just goes out there and puts anything there. But that's not even where I'm going. The real question is, if you find yourself in an organization, right, is it possible that you can still build your brand without making compromise? Can you still be successful without compromising, even when you are working in seemingly unethical organizations? Because we have people who work in such environment and they find themselves there. Because one lady recently reached out to me and she wanted my professional advice, to say, I ran away from one place that they were unethical, and I ran to this place again, they are also unethical. As in, so where do I go to? And I was having that conversation with her, because you keep running from pillar to post. If every single thing that you do, that or every single thing that they do in an organization does not align with you. But I know that there is a point in which you have to draw the lines. And I've had to leave organizations when those lines were crossed for me. There were things I couldn't take, and I decided to walk away. But a lot of people cannot do that. But so here is the question: is it even possible? And the question she asked me was, "Oh, and you were able to build this much success as an HR professional?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know, but maybe you can help us, because I'm sure there might be people here wondering, will I ever be able to make it if I'm working in an unethical environment?" Let's even not just work environment. People say it that, oh, in this Nigeria, it's impossible for you to make it unless you know somebody, unless you rub hands, unless you work. And there are people that are making it without doing all of those things. So, but can you just provide insights and balance to this mind-blowing discussion that I think that a lot of people will be thinking about at the back of their minds? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bolaji. So, coincidentally, this conversation around Olodo uprising thing, I was having it with someone earlier today. And one of the things that was strong about it was that the person who initiated who started this conversation has also misled the so-called uprising. Because when people are the so-called celebrities, when they are projecting a kind of lifestyle that is not real to the people that are looking up to them, there's an assumption, there's the perception they've created in the minds of those people that this is how life is. And they go by it. They don't know any other thing, they go by it. So that's a result of the influence they've had on this generation that has been unknown to them. Now, bringing it back to if you would thrive in an unethical environment as a professional or someone that is upright. I started off when I started off this conversation, I had made mention that before you go into an organization, you must look at the corporate aspiration and your own personal aspiration. There must be an alignment. Now, a lot of people make a lot of people make this mistake of hopping on a new opportunity without carrying out a background check on their own. It's not only organizations that will carry out a background check. If the organization you're going to, there's the culture does not align with what you believe in, don't jump at it because of the money.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, you won't even have that peace of mind to enjoy the money. Why would you want to work in an organization where for every contribution you make, it's not even recognized, it is not even seen? You are seen as you're just doing your own. A lot of core professionals, you probably will not find them in public service. Why?
Mm.
Because there can't be an alignment.
Mm.
Someone was saying recently to me that I can't work in public service, that I'll be too strict. I said, even me, I know. They would even go the diabolical way, and that won't even work well for me. I know I won't survive it. So you must know who you are.
Mhm.
If you don't stand for something, you would fall for anything. So you
Mm.
must stand for something. You must be known for something. Once they know that this person is like this, they won't even come close to you. They won't bring some conversations close to you. Let me cite an example back as far back as my secondary school days. As far back as my secondary school days, there was this. I went to a public secondary school anyway, state public school. You know, generation nowadays they go to private schools.
Mm.
So I went to a public school. Now, the one of the teachers, and those teachers were fond of extorting students. Well, when it happened in with our own class teacher, and then the teacher said that the attendance record was exhausted, the attendance booklet was exhausted, and we need to contribute money to buy another one. I was shocked. I was like, well, that's what the school is meant to provide. So I was shocked by the teacher's reaction. Before I knew it, other students started contributing money. I was like, do these people even know their rights? So I engaged one of the senior mathematics teacher and told him what the situation was. And then he said, why would that happen? Before I knew it, that teacher was called to order. Now, this same teacher had his wife put to bed. And then rumor had it that students were contributing to buy something for him. But I just noticed that while we were in class, they were all going out one after the other, one after the other. And I was the only one left in the class. So I accosted one of I
I'm
accosted,
already laughing. I'm trying.
I accosted one of my classmates and asked, where is everybody going? What's happening? And then the guy told me in confidence to say they want to have a meeting on how to contribute money to give to that teacher. But the teacher and the other teacher said they should not call Yetunde, that they should make sure Yetunde is not away. So I was like, whoa. So he knew that what he was doing was wrong. And he knew there was someone that was bold enough to confront him to say, okay, what you're doing is right. Of course, I didn't have that conversation directly, but I routed it through someone that could have the conversation. So
Mm.
once you're known for something, right, you won't even want to go into what does not align with your values, right? So please, I know that sometimes because we want to meet some needs, we tend to get attracted by the pay first. But
Mm.
unfortunately, there are a lot of
Mm.
underlying elements, right, beyond that pay that you are not aware of until you come in. For
Mm.
every organization that wants to get you into the organization, you have to sell that organization, of course. But the number of organizations that are sincere, I don't think is up to 50% when they are trying to attract the talents. There's so
Mm.
many things they won't tell you until you come in and you be like, you're now one of us. And that's why you will not want to stay long there. Before you know it, you've moved again. And that is having an impact on your resume. Oh, or you're now looking flighty. When you now want to land on your next big job opportunity, there are concerns on stability. So think through it deeply, think through it thoroughly. I know some people would even want to test their market strength. Am I still marketable? Especially when you've stayed long in one organization, you would want
Mm.
to you would want to test if you're still employable. Like, are you still competitive? Do you still meet the current trends? Do you still have the emerging skills, required for this job? You might want to test it and see, oh, okay, it comes to, but compare where you're coming from to where you're going. An organizational culture is very, very important. If
Mm.
it's not right, if it does not sit well aligned with your own values and your belief system, you cannot align. You either leave or they chase you out. Do you
Wow.
understand? So I hope I've been able to pass the
Yes,
message.
it's been quite insightful, and that story that you mentioned, it also reminded me of, I mean, how for some reason, right from my secondary school, I've been like ostracized. I mean, how would I put it? People will say this one, she's like a one-way traffic. She just knows, and once she says, in fact, I had so many names. She's stubborn. Even when I worked in some organizations, I had bosses that were calling me, she's highly opinionated, because they know that if they want to do anything unethical, I would say it like this, that we cannot afford to do this. Even when managers are not speaking, I will speak up. I'll say we can't afford to do this, because we might think we're trying to attack Yetunde or take a decision against Yetunde, but other people are watching what we're doing. And for some reason, whenever they want to do anything unethical, in the few places that they've done it, they will remove me from it and go and do it on their own. I will not know about it. I will not know about it. Some of those decisions are even within my purview, but they will not involve me, because they know that I won't agree to it. I used to actually feel very bad about it at first, but after a while, I'm like, it's good that they know that I stand for this, because what somebody said is that if they tell you to come and do it, will you do it? Will you compromise your integrity? And I'll be like, no. So they already know who they are dealing with. And I like how you put it, that you
Absolutely.
must stand for something. And
So
I
you don't
particularly
fall for
like the
anything.
one who actually said that most people, why? People are attracted to pay first. Forgetting organization culture is the one that matters. When they now get there, they will not be like, one chance again. And like you said, it has impact, because you keep jumping around. You won't be able to stay in a place. Oh, this has been so insightful, Yetunde. I
So
wish
let
we
me
could
let me
continue.
just add to that so that it
Mhm.
can also help people that are trying to make a decision, right? Because if you are not there's something I wanted to say. I hope I've not lost my line of thought. So if oh no, I was going to say something around the what's it called now? You aligning with the
The
organizational
culture,
ethics.
the
Yes,
culture of the
about
organization.
if you don't stand for something, you would
Mhm,
fall for anything. So some people might
mhm,
want to make a decision on migrating to another organization as even as we're on this call, and then they really don't have any information about that
mhm.
organization. If you go through the data source, I mean, for everyone, Google is the easiest. LinkedIn is another avenue. If you go through
Glassdoor.
any data source, you can't find anything about them. Just know that okay, there are some red flags. Now, if you find anyone that works in that organization, you may not necessarily come direct to say, oh, you want to join the organization. So you also don't give the person a heads up about your intention, right? Just know how to be wise about
Diplomatic.
gathering the information about that organization before you then dabble into it. Because it's very, very important. Really, you don't want to get into something and before you know it, you're even out, you're not happy about it. But just so there are some chats on the I don't know if you want to
Yeah.
check that now
So
or much.
yes. So this is the last question I will ask you. Thank you. It's been quite insightful. I wish we could go on and on, but because we have some questions that we still want to answer, and we want to round up by 7:30, I'm just going to ask you. As take home for everyone. We couldn't touch all the questions and all of that. So maybe I'll bring you back another time for us to continue the conversation. This is a very deep and important part of people's life and career. So, what is one practical step, or what steps will you suggest for every professional that they can begin to take to strengthen their ethics and personal brand? Some people don't even have personal brand, they don't have ethics, anything goes. How can they make that change from today forward to start developing, so that people know when they mention your name, people know what you stand for? People can say no. There are some things somebody will say, oh, Yetunde did, and you say no, Yetunde cannot do this, because you already know what Yetunde stands for. How can they do that?
Okay, so this is how I'll put it in this phrase that anything you can't defend in your sleep, don't attempt doing it rather. don't attempt doing it. If you can't defend it in your sleep, if it doesn't sit well with your conscience, don't even attempt it. Because, yes, because what do you think? For someone to vouch for you to say, I know what this person is capable of doing, that means you've put in a lot of work. You've proven over and over and again in your actions that this is the kind of person you are. As a matter of fact, you've been tested without you knowing, but you've passed that test. That's what will make someone, put their life on the line to say, no, I'm going to defend this person to the latter. I've been a beneficiary of this. In my absence, a lot of decisions were going to be made, but people kept speaking for me, and I was not even aware until the decision was made and someone was telling me about it. I said, oh, really? And the only thing I said to that person is that where decisions will be made and you're not aware, God will speak for you, because I didn't know what to give to that person, right? I don't know how well to reward that person, right? It's not just about maybe tokens. So please, if you can't defend it, if it doesn't sit well with your conscience, don't get involved in it. Now, there might be instances where you might be working with some people that might want to impose their authority on you and use it against you to say, but who is the boss here? Am I not? Who is reporting to who? Am I reporting to you, or you're reporting to me? See, once I see such, I don't consider that person a leader, because a leader would not have such conversation. A leader would listen to you. A leader would want to understand your point of view and understand the reason why you don't want to do what you want to do. And that's about professionalism. Analyze everything to the person. Give your professional advice and make sure it's professional, not just your instincts, what you think, how you feel. No, give a professional advice. As a matter of fact, that's why we have a lot of professional associations to leverage on. You already have your own professional opinion that you think this is the right thing to do, but also ask another professional. This is the situation I'm in, and what's your own opinion about this? If you've taken the right decision, the person's opinion would also align with your opinion, and then you can go back to give the advice the professional advice that you need to give. But let it be on the record that you gave that professional advice, so that if push comes to shove, when conversations are being heard where you are not, there's something in writing to defend yourself. You're not indicting anyone. You're just being professional about things. And let the person know that, Sarah, this is my professional advice. You hired me to do this job because you believe in my professionalism. So and don't compromise. You see, a lot of things would happen in an organization. You're in a fix. Should you do white? Should you do black? Should you be in between? Stand for something. Don't compromise, because whatever you do there, they will still come for reference. So when you do good or do bad, that reference would still, whatever you've done goes into that reference document. So let it be said that, oh, you were upright throughout your stay in that organization. Don't let anybody influence you. It might be scary for you to say, where would I get another job? Now, I know the economy is hard and tough, but it takes the brave ones to survive. You need to be brave to survive. Don't think that your survival is tied to a particular organization or particular individual. You just have to believe in yourself. That's also a brand. That's confidence. I mentioned it earlier. That confidence defines your personal brand. That boldness defines your personal brand. You're not going to be timid because the other person wants to shine, or the other person wants to ride over you. You just have to be bold, be brave. Sometimes we don't even have anything. We just only have sharp mouth. And that sharp mouth would just walk and you'll be shocked. Isn't this my sharp mouth? I don't have anything. And people would think that, oh, this person must be very powerful. But there's just something about being confident that presents you in the room as the most powerful. Do you understand? So Bolaji, I'll land you there.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I understand that you spoke about being a leader. You need to, analyze the situation. If something does not sit well with your conscience, you don't do it. Don't compromise. Stand for something. Let it be that you were upright at the end of the day, and then be confident. As you, if you're not confident, if you're bold, if you're brave, you would be able to, go through any challenges and, overcome them. Thank you very much for that. I'm just going to read some of the questions. Now we're going to the Q&A. Thank you so much for this knowledge session. It's really enlightening, right? The person says enlightening about brand and work ethics, originality, being intentional, know your employee, so much learning. Thank you so much. Can we have the recording, please? Yes, we will be posting the recording on our social media page. You can follow us on LinkedIn, on Instagram, where on Ingenuity HR Solutions, and then my own page too as well, Bolaji Shote, on LinkedIn. You will post it there by Monday. It will be live where you can watch it on YouTube as well. So talk of your personal ethics values aligning with an intended organization. How does an intended employee or maybe an intending employee knows the ethics of such organization in order to decide if you can work there or not, if you have not worked there? I think you have pretty much spoken to this, but since it's been asked as a question, maybe you can speak to that again.
Yeah,
Just
so I'd said that
tell
you
them
should.
what
Yeah,
steps.
yeah. So, what some of the things I'd mentioned earlier is do a lot of fact findings about that
Mhm.
organization. Um, if you find someone on LinkedIn who works with that organization, it's a way to engage. Just find out, check how long they worked or they started working there, where the person was working before. Check history of people that have worked there before, how long they've stayed in that organization. And you might want to have, if it's someone you know, you might want to have like an indirect conversation. Don't let the person know or get an instinct that you're probably considering being employed in that organization. You might just have to be wise about the fact findings. And if you have any conviction within yourself, say, okay, you want to give it a try. Because a lot of organizations are very good on the outside in terms of brand projection, but on the inside, it's a
It's
death
not what
trap,
it
or
is.
it's not what it is, right?
It's not what it
And
is. It's a
yeah,
case of
so
what I ordered versus what I got.
versus what I got. Absolutely. So you don't want to, they say the devil you know is better than the angel you don't know. Probably you start seeing some changes in the organization you're working with at the moment. But nonetheless, if it's an organization where you've seen their track record, even testaments of what people, review of people about the organization, that's another way it will also help. You need to check all those handles that reflect reviews of organization. I think, is it Nairaland? Nairaland used to do something like that one time, where you'd have those reviews of people that have had an encounter with that organization. So just do your fact findings. In fact, you get to know about the culture of the organization from the first point of engagement. And feel free to ask questions. The people on the call, if you're having an interview with such an organization that you're considering, the people on the call are there to have conversations with you. So feel free to ask. If you would read the body language, if there are some things they are not saying, so it also helps to make a decision. Thank you.
So thank you. I also want to put this in addition as well to what you're saying. I joined an organization that I was well aware of what I was getting into, but I went there because I wanted. So you also need to know where are you in your life and in your career, and what do you want. So even when you make your fact findings, and it might not be something palatable, this one is like I was walking inside the fire. I walked into it by myself. I was well aware, but I wanted to change my career trajectory. I've been in working for some particular kind of organization, and I wanted something different. So that was what made me take it at the time. And I knew that was so when I got there and I started seeing all sorts of things, I was not surprised anymore because me myself, I was ready because I knew what. And when it was time for me to go, I knew I couldn't take it anymore. I plotted my exit and I said, you are done. And I left at the time. But another thing that usually happens, because when you reach out to people, people might close up to you. Some people don't, yesterday has mentioned you can ask and all that. Some people will not tell you. I even have a story of an HR person that did not tell me about a job she was living in and brought me into the job. 4 months after I got to the job, I was fired. But when somebody else came many years later, somebody else, I didn't even know the person. The person wanted to come and meet me as a consultant, and by the time she mentioned the name of it, was that same organization. I told her, you are in that organization, you sit tight, so that you have to know what you're doing. I had to tell her that. I didn't know her from Adam. Do you know, she told me that was what helped her to manage till she exited. So again, it depends on we on the flip side, as an individual, don't over whatever for the kind of organization you are also working for. Not that the is it the brand your organization, but let people know the reality of what it is. Don't paint your organization like you people are all saints and all of that, and when people come there, they will blame you for it. They will not like you for it. They'll say, he or she didn't tell us the truth. I think that also helps too as well. Do we have any other person that has any question that we can take? If you have any question you want to ask us, now is the time to ask. Okay, you can also help us complete the feedback. For it will only take you less than 1 minute to complete, very short. Let's know what we've done well and how we can do better. If anyone has any question, again, you can unmute and ask your question. This is that time where you are able to, ask Yetunde or myself any question you like us to ask before we call it a day. Anybody? All right. If there are no question, Yetunde, what will be your final words to everyone? Thank you so much for coming. It's been an amazing time. It's been an insightful time, and I'm sure anyone who will come in contact with this session would appreciate your openness and your sincerity. And it's something that is really, really needed for this time and season that we are as professionals. Thank you very much. So what are your final words?
Okay, thank you, Bolaji. So I would ultimately say that in building personal brand, you need to be bold, be confident, have integrity. Don't gossip, but be real, be intentional. Now, another part of personal branding that I also would tell people is always look good, smell nice. Don't choke people with your perfume, but you must always look good. Look good. Yes, looking good does not have to be expensive. It's just proper coordination. There's this, and you don't have to break the bank to look good, but just look very good, such that when you enter into a room, people are wondering if you are the owner of the organization or you are the one calling the shot here, right? And don't be arrogant. Don't be proud. Don't be proud. Be down to earth, but know your worth. That's very, very important. You need to know your worth. No, you must stand for something, and what you're standing for, it should be something you can always defend. Then don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You're equally a brand, and your name is as powerful as who you are. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My notes pad is almost full with all the things that I've written. You mentioned the fact that don't gossip, don't involve yourself in I don't even know why people gossip within the workplace. If you are too busy doing your work, you won't have time to be gossiping about other people. Always look good. Looking good is godly. Don't let people come beside you and they are choking, they don't want to talk to you. BO, MO. I actually let a driver who worked for me in the course of the week. One day, I told him to be going, and I did not tell him his offense. So because he wanted to kill me with BO, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to let him go. And one of the key things you said, that it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be expensive. Just look nice, smell good. It doesn't cost too much for you to use body roller, buy small body mist or something to smell good, and it starts from there. Because if your body language, you're not even physically confident to face people, it begins to affect how people will also view you as well. So look good, smell good, and don't be arrogant. I particularly, you don't know how much I love this. Every day, the arrogance I see is too much. People who don't know anything, but they will be talking as if they are the ones that know everything. Nobody even has monopoly of knowledge. Try and humble yourself. The biggest room in the world is the room for improvement, and try to improve yourself. I'm going to close with a short story of myself recently. It was one of the most humbling moments that I ever had in my career. I went to train. I entered into the training room, and they wanted to introduce me. And then it was a hybrid training. Some people were online, some people were physical. And somebody said, Bolaji Shote, I'm not doing online again. I'm not doing online again. I'm not doing online again. I'm coming physically. And when she came, I was now looking like, what's going on? She said, I have followed you for years. I have never gotten in touch with you in my life. She said, but I am a big fan of your work and what you do. And that's why today, when they said who was going to be our facilitator, they mentioned your name, and I said, no way, my celebrity. You know, yesterday you call me celebrity HR. Now my celebrity, you are my Beyonce. You are physical. I had to meet you. I was humbled that day. It showed me the fact that even when it looks as if people don't, you might feel that people don't know your brand. When I brought out the flyer for you and I for this session, people were saying, I know her. Oh, she's a great HR. I know her. People that I didn't know will know you. So that's how much your brand can go out and you don't know. Be intentional about your brand. That's what I'm leaving each and every one of us. Don't say, oh, nobody's watching me. I'm not popular. I'm not this. I'm not that. You don't know who is watching you and what it can bring for your brand. A lady told me that one Nigerian guy that is working for Beyonce, that is maybe dancing for Beyonce, the video of him that Beyonce saw, she didn't like it though. She just saw it, and from there gave him business. So you don't know who is watching. So conduct yourself, whether you are in the organization or out of like Yetunde said, you are your own brand. Know your own worth and carry yourself with that dignity. That's what I'm leaving us with. We've come to the end of the session. I'd like to thank each and every one of us for taking out time from your very busy schedule to be here today. And I would like to thank Yetunde for coming to this evening. Thank you so much. It was indeed a great honor to have you come speak with us, and I'm looking forward to us having more of such conversations in the nearest future. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Do enjoy the rest of your weekend. You can unmute.
Thank you.
Please put your comments in the comment section and tell our guest speaker thank you for giving so much from our wealth of experience and knowledge. Thank you so much.
Thank
you,
you.
everyone.
Thank you very much, everyone.
It was
you.
indeed an
I
honor.
appreciate.
Do enjoy the rest of your weekend. God
right,
bless
Kiko.
you, and see you in another
On Monday, you work. All right, take care.
Yes, so
Bye.
enjoy your weekend. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
God bless you. Thank you. Thank you, Yetunde. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.